In August, members of the Wildlife Conservation Society came to our office here in Denver and sat down with us to talk about a proposed follow-up meeting that they had in mind to discuss what they call the ecological recovery of the bison. And what they have in mind is free-roaming herds of bison that can interact in the ways that they did in the past, through fire, through predators, and really free-ranging, free-roaming. And they realize that there's issues to be overcome in this effort, but they feel strongly about it, and they have a tremendous tie to the bison. The Bronx Zoo was a big help support the bison industry in its recovery when the numbers were dwindled down to hardly anything. The conference was held in October here in Denver and included lawyers, included parks managers, state folks, ranchers, of course, ourselves, members of tribal groups, members of the media. There were Buffalo Fields folks from the campaign up in Yellowstone Park, and we discovered that we have a lot in common. Of course, we come at things from a little different perspective, but the love of the bison and the care for this animal and the desire to see it flourish in our nation again, it really was the key that brought us all together. In November, we traveled up to the Canadian Bison Association conference in Regina and reestablished and continued to establish our relationships with their president, Mark Silzer, and their executive director, Terry Kriminek. The key really and the highlight of the year for me was the tour that Dave and I made in New York City in November. And through the efforts of Fresh Ideas, we met with editors at Forbes magazine, Food and Wine magazine, and Business Week magazine. We have follow-up meetings planned with Southern Life magazine as well as the New York Times. And all of these folks are very interested in what's going on. They love the story about bison. They're interested in the meat. In most cases, they've had the meat. It's a part of their diet. They like it. But what they really like is the story. They like what's happening in the industry, the people that are raising these animals. And that is the key, and that is what all of us are, and all of you are the story about the recovery of the bison. One of the big highlights of the day was a meeting that we had at the Food Network. If you're familiar, the Food Network is a cable network program that specializes in food issues. And we're going to have a follow-up meeting with them in March, and with recipe development ideas, programming development ideas, and potential programming with some of their celebrity chefs, including Bobby Flay and Emeril Lagasse. And we're extremely excited about this, that will really promote and highlight not only the meat and ways to prepare it, but also the story of bison on a national basis. Some of the initiatives that we put into place this year, one is a piece of legislation that we've drafted, is still in draft form, that we call the Bison Restoration Initiative Act. And it's not a program with handouts for all bison producers, but it's to help support bison research, grants, tax incentives for bison producers, particularly new producers to get involved in the business, and inclusion in existing ag-related support programs. As you know, that we sometimes, when some of these disasters strike and the rules come out and how the government can help support things, bison aren't included. And with this legislation, bison would be included, and again help to get us on the map. We also have a draft marketing proposal in the works called Bison, the Essential Red Meat. And the reason I call it essential is for threefold. It's healthy, it tastes good, it supports family farming, and it's sustainable. It helps to restore and save a species that was nearly lost in our nation. And those are tremendously strong messages. They play really well with the public, and they're important in our society. I also established town hall teleconferences. This was an opportunity for the state and regional associations to call in and tell us what's happening in their areas, share ideas with other state and regionals, and also get support and feedback from what's happened at the national level. And I think these have been well met from the heads of those regions. Of course, we had an increase in membership dues. As I say, we're trying to get ourselves back in good financial footing, and so we did have a slight increase in the dues. What are some of my concerns for the coming year? Where will future production come from? We know that demand is increasing. We see that the slaughter numbers from USDA reports were up by 21% in 2006. We know we're going to need more animals. Where is this going to come from? Primarily from strong small family farms, small producers, And we need to support that group and continue to engage them and help your group and help those of us who are small producers to increase our outreach. We need new producers coming into the business. Where are we going to find those folks? Our Canadian friends are an important part of the meat supply that's coming into our country and continuing to see things grow. We know that demand is going to drive economics, but we want to help make it as easy as possible for people to get into the business and increase that supply. Some of the things that are a detriment to getting into the bison industry, we know that are out of our control: high cattle prices, the ongoing drought. Are things that we don't have any control over, but we want to help support areas that folks can get into this business as easily as possible. Because together, as you know about your bison, the herd is going to be much stronger than individual groups out there. So we need to work together and find common ways that we can help support the bison producers best we can. What's our plans? My plans for 2007: to continue the programs that I've outlined for you and to help push our legislative agenda. We'll plan another follow-up roundup in Washington this year and continue to push our message with the wider world. All the leads that we generate, we want to point them back in your direction. The slow foods groups, as they get more on board, we want to have them know where your farm, your ranch is, so that they can get their meat from you. Their members can come locally to find meat, to buy meat, and support their efforts as well as those of you that are raising the bison. So lastly, I want to tell you how you can get involved, what you can do to help support these efforts if you're so inclined. First is to come to the IBC. The IBC will be held at the end of July in Rapid City, and this, as I said, is a tremendous opportunity for our group to get together and promote what's happening in this industry. We've got a lot of media attention that's going to be coming to this event. We've got a great program put together, but we really need turnout. We need strong member turnout to come and tell the story. Tell your individual story, your ranch, your operation. As I mentioned, these members of the media are looking for that story. They want to pick it up and take it back to their readers and spread that news. And so we need to have strong attendance there, shoulder by shoulder, to show what's happening in the industry and be sure that they understand that story. Also, please support the NBA. Be a part of the NBA. As I mentioned to the folks at the conference in Denver this past week, is to think of your dues, this $200 dues, not as a dues expense in your overall budgeting, but as a marketing investment. The issues that we've laid out here, the connection with worldwide organizations such as Slow Food, the legislative program in Washington, the media context that we're establishing, are a campaign that really has national implications, but really on a local level. All of this we're trying to drive back to the local level. The marketing investment on your part collectively will help all of this effort expand and be much more effective. None of these things any of us could do by ourselves, but collectively look at the impact that we're making in the outreach that we're having in the wider world. And then the Bison World, the conferences, the websites, all that other things, they basically come to you for nothing if you're willing to make that investment and support our marketing efforts. I want to thank everybody for the support that you have given. Let's have a great year ahead and appreciate your attention to the message. Thank you.